In a commoditized market, the differentiating factor, the value, is user experience.
That's the sort of power that mobile technology brings to everyone. That's the sort of power that makes me love this industry.
We are living in the age of user experience, not the age of features. But they went far beyond usable, because usable is kind of like edible, right? Usable is a first step we need to get to.
When I started selling online advertising, the UK advertising industry was worth £52 million a year. This year it's going to be worth £4 billion. And that's because the target audience, the UI and the use and feel was just spot on. All factors came together for that. It was wonderful.
As any of you who work in agencies or on the client side know, developing apps can be quite expensive. It can be quite easy to get a very simple app out the door, but then when you start to build and increase the functionality on that app over time, and you have a roadmap, that can get expensive.
Yeah, mobile's had a great impact on publishing because it just enables people to consume content in so many different ways in so many different places. It's through the day, from the moment they wake up to the last thing at night now. With iOS particularly, on the iPad and iPhone, it's so much easier. You have one platform, one browser, one system of doing things, and of course it means very, very easily you can start to use custom fonts. So we, on our web app, as well as our native apps before then, we use the same fonts as we do in the paper, Miller, Clarion, Benton, whereas actually our website is still using the more boring web-safe fonts, Arial and Georgia. It'll be something we do with the next redesign of the site, almost certainly to bring these fonts back into the website, because it's something that's actually a lot easier now. But we've definitely beaten the punch by that, and it's a bit embarrassing in a way that these web apps are actually sort of forging ahead in ways that websites are still getting a little bit left behind.
And if I could add one more piece of advice, I would say no as a word is your best friend, not yes.
The iPhone and everything that came with it basically opened it up to make it, like bring it to the masses.
There really is an issue where the industry hasn't rallied around trying to have consistent branding across all these different digital media types.
Aryl's tour sort of set the tone and sort of fired everyone up for the rest of the day.
The day's been really good fun. I've done a bit of networking, which is always good.
I would consider is, what are you trying to get your audience to do?
So the new branding medium then for HTML5 is really about being able to deliver information and deliver your experiences to all these different devices, whether it's iOS, whether it's Android, whether it's an iPad, whether it's TV, right? And the beauty of HTML5 is that anything that you develop for these different types of mediums can be ported back over onto the desktop. However, the vice versa, that's not necessarily true as you scale down from the desktop to these devices.
There is hope for creating beautiful, rich editorial experiences, and this will be mentioned many times today, as it already has been. We feel Open Web Standards play an important role for all of our channels. CSS3 alone gives us significant improvements in terms of layout and presentation, animation, irrespective of operating system.
Whether it's advertising or campaigns or whether it's actual business processes, you need to make sure that they're using mobile to enable them to talk to their customers and listen to their customers, more importantly. Listen to their customers as often as possible.
Is an iPhone app the answer? Well, my gut reaction is no.
We had a bit of we explored this idea of digital brand DNA and what it means for mobile particularly, and I tried to make a few references to some of the really good stuff that came before lunch. And then remembering that the whole purpose of design is to put users at the center. The whole thing that makes sense of it all is context.
I think it's always a mistake to start with a technology and work from there. It's more a case of starting from what experience you want a user to have and what users want to do and how can you use technology to enable that.
So some really big challenges about how can you create a language experience for the consumer which still looks consistent with your brand and is true to the designer's intent. So we've tried different ways of kind of doing this. In iOS actually doesn't have actually great support for text layout.
It was really great. I really enjoyed my talk.
It was good. Improvised and good.
And it really is about educating the market and talking about collectively as an industry, how do we have excellent typography, excellent branding, excellent user experiences, no matter where that content shows up. Print, on your iPhone, iPads, Samsung Galaxy, it could be Amazon's Fire, who really cares? It should have excellent visual representation of the author's intent.